There we go. The exam is going to be Tuesday, August 12th.
What's the format?
Format, it is a pencil and paper test in the usual manner. For this one, I was talking to Greg. Greg is the guy who's teaching the other section.
Yeah.
And in place of a provided syntax reference sheet, we're going to let you have a crib sheet.
A what?
A cheat sheet, a crib sheet. Yeah.
Oh my God,
8.5.
that's amazing.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
One 8.5 by 11 crib sheet. You can put on that crib sheet whatever you like. Make sure it's useful. But yeah, there you go. You can have a crib sheet. So one note about crib sheets, kind of in general terms. The best studying that you can do for an exam is the creation of the crib sheet for the exam, right? So when you're producing a crib sheet, please make sure that you are doing that yourself, because it's your brain that you're processing the information with, right? Like the whole point of a crib sheet, like there are good crib sheets, there are bad crib sheets, right? All crib sheets are helpful to some degree, but a good one can really make or break the experience, you know? What the crib sheet is, ideally, it is a point form summary of the important information in the course, right? You can put code snippets on your crib sheet. That's a thing you can do. You can put anything you want on the crib sheet, right? Up to and including code snippets. Basically, if you're getting somebody else, like if you're collaborating on your crib sheet with other people, then you're basically, you know, using them to process the course information. Processing the course information is what you should be doing to study, so you're kind of like, you know, I think it's very useful to compare your crib sheets with other people's if you have friends in the class. After you've made it, that can be very useful. It's like, oh, I missed that, oh, good, right? But in the process of creation, that should be an individual thing. This is not, you know, it is possible, not recommended, but it's possible to copy-paste large portions of the course notes onto a crib sheet, right? This is not a good idea. For one thing, it means that you're not like the whole point is the information passes through your brain and onto the sheet, right? Into your brain, you decide what's important, that gets put on the sheet. That's a very important, like that is studying, right? If all you're doing is like taking slides and you're you know, shrinking them down to microfiche territory and, you know, putting them all on your crib sheet. Like when I was at the university, I saw this one guy who like literally printed out almost the whole, every slide that we'd done in the entire course on a crib sheet in like size 2 font, literally had a magnifying glass, right, during the test. Like he actually had a magnifying glass, right? And it's like, okay, but, like, two things about that. Number one, it makes it very difficult to actually find the information that's useful, right? So, however you structure your crib sheet, make maximal use of the space. You get both sides, right? Make maximal use of the space, but organize the information in such a way that you can find it, right? Have section headings with topics, you know? Yes?
Will the final focus more on the second half of the course, or is it just split evenly between the first and second half?
The final will focus more on the second half of the course, because the midterm, ostensibly, was meant to test the first half of the course. So it'll focus more on the second half, but you can expect topics from the first half to show up there. Yes. For more information on that, please refer to the study. The last week's going to be a review week. We'll talk about specific content there. But yeah, more of an emphasis on the second half, but stuff from the earlier stuff is going to show up. Yes. Yeah.
No.
Do I have anything else to say about crib sheets? I don't think I do. Oh, and obviously getting the chatbot to summarize things for you is, again, robbing you of your best opportunity to study. So, there we go. Any questions? Yes.
The number of questions. How many questions are we expecting?
That's not really, I always hate answering that question, and I try to avoid answering that question as possible. I also try to avoid answering the question, how many marks is the test worth? It's not really a good, like you're trying to estimate test difficulty, right?
Not really. I'm trying to estimate how do I put this? Because I'm really gonna prioritize the really big mark questions. It's like I'm
Sure.
putting all of my brain power there, and then the rest of them are like, okay, I know this, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I wanna what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I'll talk a little bit about the structure of the test then, rather than like how many questions there are.
Okay, the structure, yeah.
So the test is divided into two portions. You have a short answer portion, you have a coding question portion, which is roughly how the midterm was also laid out.
Yeah.
So for short answer stuff, the kind of categories of questions that you can typically expect, I like questions where it's like, here's some code, find the bugs. I like questions like that. I like questions that are like, here's some code, tell me its output, right? There'll of course be a selection of, like more traditional short answer questions, like compare and contrast these two things, right? Like, give me a brief description of this, what's this about that, right? That kind of like written answer stuff. When I do written answer stuff, I try to keep it to like 2, maximum 3 sentences, right? Like in contrast to other people who you may have had for the first half of this class, I'm not gonna like ask you a question and expect you to write me like a whole page of written text, right? It's like, or half a page even, like, I'm not gonna give you any essay questions, right? Like, it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of my time, as far as I'm concerned, with subject material like this. If you don't know it in 2 or 3 sentences, you don't know it. So, concise, clarity, brevity, wit. Let me think. Other stuff like ordering questions, matching questions, sometimes I throw those kind of things into the short answer section as well.
Mm-hmm.
The coding question section, there'll be sort of shorter ones and longer ones, right? You can expect major course topics,
Like MVC?
like MVC, or like database stuff, which were the, sessions were also quite important, but there's not quite enough meat on the bones with that topic for like a nice chunky coding question on an exam, you know. Sessions are certainly going to be on the exam, but like definitely like in the second half of the course, the chunky questions I can ask a good exam question on are MVC and databases, right? So I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying study those topics. It should be fairly obvious from the course structure. You had a question?
Yes.
What is your question, sir?
Do we have to use dynamic coding? Like, will we have to mix HTML with PHP?
Oh, you might. That's certainly a thing that's possible on the exam. I'm still in the process of finalizing the questions, so like I don't precisely know what's on the exam yet, but that's a thing that PHP is actually built for, is mixing PHP together with HTML. So you shouldn't be surprised if that appears on the exam, either in the form of like a coding question or as a short answer question. Yeah. The habit in the past with this course is like to try to minimize the amount of client-side code that you have to actually write. Like, the rule is still you do not have to write any JavaScript, right? Ordinarily, though, on a test, like you're expected to at least be able to like read HTML and like it's like, okay, this is an HTML form. It is targeting the PHP script I'm trying to write. My inputs are coming from this form. I should be able to read the form and see what my inputs are. Something like that. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, say that we forgot how to like by memory put in the elements for like input type and all that stuff.
You should. Well, you should be able to review that pretty quickly. Like you'll notice that we've been developing HTML forms in this very MVC example that we've been doing, right? So yeah, I'd say it's a good thing to review. Any other questions? For anybody who came in a little bit late, the main takeaway from our discussion of the exam is that you will be allowed to have a cheat sheet. So make effective use of that, please. One 8.5 by 11 double-sided sheet of paper upon which you may write anything you choose.
So we can write on both sides of the sheet?
Yes, you can write on both sides of the sheet because I'm not going to be the guy that goes in the exam flipping people's cheat sheets over and saying, "Ah, you wrote on the other side of this." It's like, but I was using it as scrap paper. I can't prove you weren't, so I guess this is a stupid policy. So yeah, you can use both sides because I can't really prevent you from using both sides. But listen up, cats and kittens. All right? If you are printing it off, print it off, double-sided on one sheet. I don't want to see any of this nonsense where people take two pieces of paper and like tape them together. I've seen that. I don't want to see that. All right? All right? Learn how to use your printer. Question?
Do we have to review all the modules, or there are some specific modules?
So all of the modules are testable,
Okay.
but the emphasis will be on the material we've covered since the midterm.
Okay.
Yeah. And like a lot of those topics, it's like, you know, you kind of have to know that stuff anyways,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not like you'll be able to do much without a filter input statement, right? Technically that's the first half, but you know, so it goes. All right, question?
Sorry. How much emphasis on the first half will be implemented on this test?
The exact percentage is something that I am somewhat aware of, and you will find out during the test. You'll just have to wait and see.
And will there also be a syntax sheet still?
No, if I'm giving you your own cheat sheet, that if you have that aid, then I'm taking away the PHP syntax reference sheet, which, as I understand, wasn't all that helpful anyways. So, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. Unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway. Any other questions? Okie dokie. So, let's continue our running example then. So last time on class, we took our login system from previously, and we adapted it so that it became MVC architecture. Very good. There are some finer points, however, and it would be nice to kind of flesh it out a little bit. At the moment, it's literally just a login system. It would be nice to add a table for, posts. It's like a message posting system, right? So, let's download our code. Yes?
You didn't post the recording on YouTube.
It's in the memory card. I'll do that today.
I was actually hoping to review it yesterday before today.
I'm sorry.
It's alright.
It's been a week. I know that's no excuse, but it's been a week. It's been a week of Java midterms, basically. Me marking Java midterms. Bloody Java. Ugh. Everybody hates Java, including the people who teach it. No, I'm kidding. I don't mind Java, actually.
I thought Java was your favorite, was one of your favorites.
You want to know a secret? This course is actually my favorite.
Oh boy. Come on.
It's because PHP is so close to C, and really, I'm a C guy at heart, But yeah, no, I like this material. I like this class. The material's very bouncy. Java is it's good, but the material towards the end of it gets way too abstract, and you always lose the whole class by the end of it, and there's kind of a traditional argument that's made about Java that I don't disagree with. Let's see. How about we open model and control and view. Open all those. Very good. The question is in a college program, do we need to get into all of those really fine, abstract, object-oriented concepts, right? Are you going to be the designers of systems or the implementers of systems, right? Most probably you will be the implementers of systems that will be designed by other people who perhaps have a greater handle on those kind of abstract, object-oriented details. But, that's okay. Toward the end, Java's kind of a drag, but it's okay. Alright, so, if you haven't already, please load up our running MVC architecture example code. Let's get our database reconfigured. Inside of, I actually remembered it this time, inside of your the zip file that was posted to the announcements, I put an SQL file, which is the database, so please import the database. we go. Oh. No database selected. Oh, I suppose we have to make it first? Why, oh, why, oh, why? Great. There. Now import. Go. Come on, kids, it shouldn't take that long. It's a local file. Oh boy. What happened to my server? Did I crash it?
Oh yeah, that happened to me once.
Ah, some errors have been detected.
Yeah, that's it. That's cool.
Okay. So credentials table is there. Structure, does it have the data? Yes. We have Fred the test person. Very good. Okay, so that import worked even though it looked like it didn't. So, just to remind ourselves where we are, let's take a look at the app as it exists. Oh, error. Unrecognized operation. Well, that's interesting. So let's see why that's happening. So we're getting an unrecognized operation error. So let's take a look at our controller. So we are not asking for a particular operation. This is actually a case that we failed to consider last time. Last time, basically for the entire class, we were attempting to perform log in, log out, this, that, or the other operations, right? But sometimes the user just accesses the page. On the first page access, there's no operation they're trying to perform. They're just trying to load the page so that they can perform an operation, right? At the moment, our code fails to account for this. Is that big enough you can see from the back? Should I increase the font? Someone sitting in the back, can you read this?
Can you
Yes,
please-
can you
A little bit?
increase
There
it?
we go. Is that good?
Yeah, that's alright.
Good. So if you take a look, the way that things are currently done, we are reading operation from input underscore get. If that's not provided, we complain that there's no operation. Now, this is probably not where we want to do that, actually. What we want to do, like we still want to have an invalid operation error. That's still a thing that can happen, right? If we get a value for operation that's not login or something else, right? However, what we need to do is we need to set some kind of default value for operation if it's not picked up, right? And then we can test for that. That gives us the extra test case where no operation was called for and we should just display the page without doing anything, right? So, we can pick something like operation is equal to none. Move this code down here, unrecognized operation. I see we already have that, so there we go. Then, we put a case in. Even if we want to add something a bit later, right? Doing nothing at the moment and breaking skips us over this bit where we set the error. So, with that small modification, going back to our code, there we go, loading it with no parameters, you get this, undefined index logged in. We should probably fix that one too, huh? Let's go to line 59, if session logged in. Well, we can solve this by, so the problem is that in the session logged in, this isn't set unless we are logged in, right? So, we need to modify this test a little bit. We need to check to see if it's set before we read it. If is set session logged in, and that value is true. So, quick little review. If this is false, do we still get an error when we try to read this? Actually, no.
Why?
Short circuit evaluation.
But yeah, that's it. The first, short circuit evaluation. Aren't we going with the first option?
Yes. So, if you consider the Boolean AND operation, right? False and anything yields false, right? So, if is set turns out false, the computer says there's no need to evaluate this one, so it doesn't. This is a common pattern that's used in PHP to do some error checking before some operation that might produce an error, right? If you want to avoid using short circuit evaluation, you can also do it like this.
Oh, I see.
Right? It does the same thing. It's a little bit more clear. But short circuit evaluation is a pattern that you will see a lot in existing PHP code, so that's why I show it to you. Question?
Did you turn on the camera?
I'm pretty sure I turned on the camera. Let me see, did I turn on the camera? Yep, we're recording.
Thank you.
Very good. So there we have it. Save. If we reload the page, whoa, interesting. So, we are missing a branch. We're not including the view. So, in this case, the session is not set, which means we don't execute any of this or that, right? So, we need to basically include this guy here as well. Which is not a problem that we had before. You can see that this code duplication, else include login.view.php, we would remove that as redundant code if we used short circuit evaluation. Right? So that's another one of the advantages of using short circuit evaluation. We are eliminating a certain amount of redundancy, at least as it pertains to else branches. So if we include that now, load, there's our login page. Very good. Any questions? Yes?
Say that we want to keep the previous version of using the if statements. Can you use the one else statement?
Yes. So let me, here, I'll put it in a comment. So the full version of using short circuit evaluation, there you go. Would be that. So you can see why people use it, right?
Shorter lines.
Yeah, fewer lines of code, less redundancy. Yeah, the semantics are a little bit abstract, but you know, PHP is one of those languages where people like to take a certain amount of advantage of those, you know, abstract semantics. So, good. So we've got it fixed. So, all right. So this is supposed to be an MVC architecture, right? One thing that we don't have is the level of control we need over entry into the program. So if I go just to the root directory here, and I did this intentionally, we can see all of the files that we have. If we want to load the, where is it? Dashboard. We can load the dashboard just by requesting the file. We don't have to go through the Apache linked up version either. If we simply call for login.view, just like that, we can see the view. Now, notice, it's not reporting our get and post parameters to us, right? That's something that the control script did, right? The control script is not running. It's not a good idea to not run your control script. That's the whole point. So, what we need is some way of controlling access to this web application. So, on different types of servers, there will be different ways of doing this. The method I'm about to show you is specific to Apache servers, but within the directory structure, there is a file that you can add called htaccess. htaccess. The htaccess file gives us the ability to set rules to redirect packets. Right? So, and this is not only putting a finishing touch on our MVC architecture, but we are currently also opening the door for REST APIs. Without this, There's really no way of doing a REST API. Alright? So htaccess allows us to redirect packets from some file in the structure to whatever point in the structure we choose. Very, very, very important. Just to review that though, so client-server communications. We have requests and we have responses, right? When we create an HTTPS request, what is it we are requesting? It is a request for blank. Fill in the blank.
Secure page.
A secure page. What is a page?
A file.
A file, yes. We are requesting a remote resource, right? That's how the HTTP infrastructure was built up. It's fundamentally, like every time you fire off a packet, it is directed at a file, right? Every time. So, basically, if we have a folder, and that folder has, you know, a.html, b.html, and let's say control.html.php, right? Like, well, let's even, well, yeah, let's call it control. And I'm gonna throw one more in there just to make it a little bit spicy. Index.php, right? So, hopefully we all know by now that when we name a file index, it is by default the file that's loaded when we access the folder. So we can direct packets at folders as well as files. This is because in Unix, folders are files. Folders are files with a particular bit set that tells you it's a directory rather than being a file. So we can direct packets at folders, right? We can fire a packet and try to hit a folder. The rule is in Apache servers, if that folder contains something called index, it's like, I'm redirecting you, there you go, you can have index, right? That's why if you don't have an index page and you ask for the folder, you get that Apache file system view with links to everything in the folder, right? That's what you get if you just request a folder and there's no index page. So, okay, fine, sure, good. This does not prevent requests for specific pages. So even if there's an index file, if I request specifically b.html, I get b.html, right? If you think back to your JavaScript assignment, your first JavaScript assignment, where you did the index page and page2.html, you could load page2.html, right? That was possible. You could get to it by a link. But by default, index was what was loaded by default. So, here's the difference. is dot htaccess. You can think of it like this. htaccess constructs a giant funnel over the entire directory structure that outputs at some specified file, right? So, it doesn't matter what somebody is requesting. Oh, requesting the folder? Nope, you get sent down the funnel. Requesting index? Nope, you are requesting whatever I specify. It redirects all incoming traffic. Once you've set up htaccess, it's no longer possible to just request a page. Any requests for a page get redirected how you specify. Now, that's if you set up a global rule in htaccess. You can set htaccess up so that it's a little more selective than that. But for our purposes, the control script is, like this is an MVC architecture, this is the thing that needs to talk to the client, nobody else. Everything else supports this as the single point of entry. So a global rule is exactly what we want to set up. Make sense? So, anybody in this room know any Linux, Unix at all? Where's the Penguin Squad? No? Okay. So, I guess it's pointless then, if anybody knows what is the purpose of a period in front of a file name? Anybody?
Hidden?
That's right! Very good, yes! It makes it a hidden file. In Unix file systems, if you have a file name that starts with a period, it's a hidden file. Very good. So, yes. Windows doesn't really care about period as the first character of your file name. Basically, it'll treat it as if like it'll treat it as if htaccess is the file extension. So in order to do this operation, you must have your Windows machine in please show me file extensions mode, right? I've said it a couple of times, but you are software developers, this should be like globally enabled for you, right? But to do it in one particular view, if you go to View, File Name Extensions, there you go. You need to enable that in order to be able to work with it. So, it doesn't actually increase the font of the file names though. Anyway, so if you make go to your text editor, make a new file, and save that as .htaccess. The file name must be spelled correctly. The server is looking for a specific file name. If you don't have that file name, it won't work. So, another note on this file, it is possible to have multiple htaccess files throughout your server, right? In my case, I have put this thing inside of the subfolder that I'm using for today's example project, right? It's not affecting anything outside of the folder that it's in, but it affects everything from that level all the way down. Any subfolders are still protected by htaccess. So, oh man, I have to look it up. What the actual contents of the file are. There we go. That is a global replace rule right there. So, first, rewrite engine on. This enables redirection. Second, rewrite rule. Dot, and then you replace this with the name of the script that you want to redirect everything to. In our case, that will be app.control.php. So, we know that dot in front of a file name makes that file hidden. But in Unix file paths, do you know what dot just by itself means? No?
It's like a concatenation only way.
No, it's a concatenation operator in PHP, but in Bash it means something very different. Any guesses? Current directory. Dot means current directory. So if you wanted to write a rewrite rule for a subfolder, for example, maybe you've got a folder called app, or maybe you've got a folder called API. ./API means current folder, next folder, API, everything at that level, that's what applies here for this rule, right? And you would be able to do something like API/app.control.php. If you put this like at the root level of the server, basically that would redirect all incoming requests for the API folder to the control script. But that's okay. It's easier to put the thing where you want it rather than play around with that sort of stuff. So there we go. Let's test to see that it works. So if we go to, oh man, is it in there? I don't see it. Save. What folder are you in? Did I spell it right? Maybe I didn't spell it right. Let's take a look. HT access, okay.
Is it because it's hidden?
No, it should be hidden.
Or you were trying to find it on the
Alright. That should have just worked. Let's see here.
Does this list show hidden files?
Hmm?
Does this list show hidden files?
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. there's kind of a weird thing going on with that. It's like in a subfolder. That shouldn't make a difference, but oh, maybe? Is there one in here that's overriding it? Oh, let's see. Oh, maybe I have to restart the server, the web server. That would make sense. Let's see here. S2025-7-4. Oh, come on.
No, I was saying because like we can't find it here because it really is hidden.
It is hidden, yeah.
So, but then how do you find something that's
Well, I mean, it's there. The question is, why isn't it activating? Oh man, what a pain.
yeah, that's it.
Like, it's always just worked. The first time I've tried it, this is the first time it's not working.
It says it's because the Apache file in XAMPP doesn't allow overrides.
The Apache file and yeah,
If you go to config on XAMPP,
config, yeah.
and then
Which
the
one?
first one, the Control F override, takes none.
Oh. Hmm.
You have to set it to all, I'm pretty sure.
Have they been changing this?
You also have to restart the.
Yeah. No, still not working. Hmm. No, I don't think that did what we thought it did.
That's all I got.
I wonder if I port this to CS Unix, I wonder if it would work. How disappointing. Alright, let's see here. Must be somewhat, I must not be doing it right. Let's see here. Did the notes lie to me? Maybe it doesn't like the extra period? Let's see if we can modify that. Local, reload. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that outside of class, unfortunately. How very irritating. That's literally the first time that's just not worked like that, you know? Like I've definitely had that definitely works like 2 semesters ago. Alright, well, so it goes. Did HT access actually get transferred over though? Or is it even? Let me just give me let me just SSH in and take a look-see around. Yeah, it is in there. Dash it all. Alright. Well, problem is I kind of need it for the next thing, you know? Okay, alright, I know people have kind of already done this. Let's take a 10-minute break, I'll see if I can get this working, alright? So I don't know if it's like the version or something, but if you don't call this index, it breaks. So it's kind of stupid, but our index page, like our controller must be called index because this is a bloody ancient Apache server. So if you name this index.php, and if you rename the bloody control file to index.php, then when you go to the where it is? There it is. When you go to the folder, it loads the index page, as you might expect, but this is not the right path. You can see this, which would have definitely caused a 404 if it wasn't for HD access. This is no longer a problem. This is now redirecting this incorrect URL back to our index page. Sound good? Alright, which means that we can no longer do funny stuff like this. We can no longer say, what was it, dashboard.view? Or was it, yes, it was dashboard.view.php. Dashboard.view.php. As you can see, we can no longer access that. That redirects us to our control script, which loads us the page that we are supposed to see. Thank you very much. But you break the whole thing if you don't call this index, apparently, which PHP. Oh, you funny computer, you. So, yeah, so that's a very important element. So, okay, alright. We now, finally, have packets redirecting to that one central point. Good. So far, so good. Alright. But this has an interesting consequence. So, you may have noticed that I kind of put in a nonsense URL and it still worked. This is utter crap. And it still worked, right? Obviously, putting nonsense in and not having it fail, that's good. But we can use this. So what this has done is it has liberated the URL as a place where we can put information that we want to pass to the server. Consider, if you will, these typical URLs for my canvas. To pick a random example. Let's get rid of the query string. So, mycanvas.mohawkcollege.ca, courses/number/files/other number. Now, it's entirely possible that in the root directory of that web server there is a courses folder. That seems reasonable. But do you think that it's probable that there are 117,872 courses in that folder at least? Probably not. That's a large number of directories, right? And certainly, files, what is that? 23,344,847 files in one directory? And that one directory is for just this one course, right? I'm pretty sure that this poor, humble server-side course does not have 23 million files in it. So, these, my friends, are primary keys for a database somewhere, right? And you can tell that because, well, it'll be interesting. Let's see if we can break Canvas. First of all, what happens if we do that? We just get the course splash page. Very good. What happens if we ask for the next course by incrementing that value by 1? Access denied. Okay, are you going to admit that it exists though? Institution suspended. Let's see if we can go back. Yay, okay, we can go back. It shouldn't be that easy to suspend your institution. That was a fun error though, wasn't it? Did you notice the logo changed?
Whole sidebar change.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So because Canvas is not a very good system, you'll notice that this course, right? This course got me Mohawk's logo again. So that's a Mohawk course. But if I kind of jump around in the address space a little bit. Oh. That's a 30. All right. Yeah, it looks like 0 is just a particular thing, isn't it? But there you go. That's actually so from a hacker perspective, all right? That's actually something you don't want to tell the difference between is like a page you don't have permission to view and a page that doesn't exist. Because now I can suss out which pages actually do exist, right? But yeah, so that's a page that doesn't exist. If you access just 0, it thinks you're from institution 0, I guess, and tells you, we have suspended you, even though that's not true, right? So that's, I'm trying to hack your database right now. That's what I'm doing, right? Unfortunately, I haven't seen anybody else's pages. But, right? The point is that number is not a folder, right? That number it's being fed into a database, right? Same thing with file. So, if you take a look at the structure of the URL itself, take a look at this portion of it, right? It doesn't take too much imagination to make it look quite suspiciously like one of our key value pairs. Once again, all I have to do is flip around some characters. So, this is what we now have the ability to do. Having liberated the URL, we can use the URL as part of the data that we're putting into the program. We can use that as well as or instead of get parameters, right? Now, you know, there are examples. You can see examples of this being done on YouTube as well. Why did I click Firefox? Why do I ever? So, if you'll notice, with this, which is kind of like the straightforward link, we're using the query parameter v is equal to video identification string. But, if you copy video URL, I think, is it this one? Yeah! Take a look at that crazy thing going on there. Technically, this is the query parameter, right? Those are the formal GET request parameters. This is the URL. So, like, it's kind of weird because, like, the site name is U2 and the domain is .b, which is a bit strange, right? I think .be is like sites from Belgium or something. I don't know, maybe YouTube is based in Belgium now. But slash, notice no query parameters, the video ID number, right? It's a more compact form of the URL, which is something that companies like, right? But yeah, this is being sort of sussed out from the URL itself rather than from a GET parameter. So, we need to learn how to read these, right? Good. It's not too difficult. It's not too difficult. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Astley. So in our case, we're going to take operation, which is currently being passed as a GET parameter, and we're going to receive it via the URL instead. So let's load up index.php. There we go. So,
Question.
sorry, what? Question?
Sorry, just to ask because I wasn't here. This is appcontrol.php renamed to index,
Correct.
so that the HT access would work.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was being somewhat cavalier in assuming that it would work logically or intelligently, and that you could name files anything other than index.php, as the internet says you can. I don't know, maybe it's because we're working with like a backdated version of it or something. I am a leaf floating on the surface of a still pond. So, Serenity now. In order to pull information out of the URL, we need to learn how to pull the URL into a PHP script. So, we introduce the final superglobal. The final superglobal that we will discuss in this class. It is server. Within server, there's lots and lots of stuff. Most of it is not really useful or interesting, but there is one, request URI. So, aha, this is utter trite. Yes?
What does the I stand for?
I don't know. I know L is location when it's URL.
Mm-hmm.
Uniform resource identifier. Okay. What about URL?
Locate.
Locator.
Yeah, it's come on.
Okay. What you have right there is two groups of people who disagreed on what the acronym should be. That's what that is. So, at any rate, this is utter trite. So you can see that we can load this as a string, but we're not like, we have to do just the tiniest smidgen of string processing in order to extract useful parameters from that, right? So, okay, so in Python, this operation is called split. Does anybody know what it's called in PHP? It's a very dramatic term.
Stir split.
Explode! That's right. Explode. String delimiter. So the delimiter, in this case, oh man. Is it backslash or forward slash? I always forget. It's forward slash. It's forward slash. Okay. Can I be like a little bit pedantic? The term delimiter here is incorrect. That's right, the documentation is wrong. Let me show you. If you have something like that, a list of arguments, these are the separators, these are the delimiters, because these tell you where the limits are, and these separate the items. In the documentation, it's saying that the delimiter is the thing that's the separator. It's very annoying. Thank you, PHP. Thank you, PHP, for being wrong.
Is it still your favorite?
I like the class content, and honestly, I'm never happier than when I'm ragging on a programming language. Oh man, back when I was at the university, I had quite the reputation for really, really hating Python, which was the thing I mainly taught. It was great. It's like, oh, you're the prof who teaches Python and hates it. Yeah, that's me. Array to string conversion. What? What do you mean array to string conversion? Oh, yes. JSON encode. Not inside, outside. There we go. Blank, this is utter trite. There you go. So, okay, sounds good. Not bad, not bad. We are left with a slight problem, though. When we are working with URL parameters, which parameter does what is dependent on context, right? Like, we can't just say, basically it's like, which one of these is the operation? That's the problem we have to solve. And we have to decide which one of these parameters shows us the operation? It should be the first one that's not null, right? That's the logical choice, but this is where we start defining an API, right? This is where you start drawing up a table, right? And you say something like, if I receive a URL with this pattern, that means perform operation, right? We now have to give some meaning to various patterns, configurations of these URLs. And of course, because we are software people, we always give meaning to things with tables. It's always a table. So we make a table. This pattern does that. When you are defining an API, if you see a pattern like this and you see two colons, if you see a colon, that means this is an argument. This is a value that's being extracted, right? So, all right, sounds good. Now, operation will be equal to, you probably want to save that rather than just echoing it. Well, we'll echo it and we'll save it. URL args equals that. Operation will be URL args at 1. Now, okay, sure. We are no longer getting it from a get parameter. That's good. We'll have to reconfigure our HTML. Does this remove the need to filter things? Everybody together. Never trust the client. Yes, very good. In fact, it's possibly more important to filter these than filtering get parameters because these are fully exposed in the URL. Anybody with a keyboard can monkey around with this, as I was doing to Canvas. So, rather than using filter input, we have another function which we can swap in, which does the same work, but it works on variables. Filter var. Filter var requires the variable itself, operation, and the type of filter that you are applying to it. But otherwise, it does to this variable what filter input does to an input. Have you seen this thing before? No?
Filter var?
Hmm?
Filter var?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. That's what you use, because the need for filtering things has not gone away. So aside from that, that's all we need to change in the control script. But we should modify our views so that they are no longer sending the information that doesn't need to be used. You remember these little guys? Well, we're no longer saying that. We're just saying /register. /login. /logout. And you don't need this hidden thing anymore. Now I shall demonstrate that this still works. Well, there you go. Probably just a missing semicolon. Yep. It's precisely what it is. Gets me every time. There we go. Unrecognized operation, this. Well, that's true. This is not an operation. Unrecognized operation blank. So, the error we are encountering, if we take a look at the data, we're getting empty string, comma, empty string. This means that if we reconstructed the URL itself, like request URI, it would just be slash, right? Empty string on one side of it, empty string on the other side of it, right? Which means that we are now feeding empty string in to filter var, right? We're feeding empty string into filter var. Now, is empty string a valid string? Empty string is a valid string. Is it null? No. We're strictly testing for null, right? It's nevertheless not an operation. So if we throw down a third test to see if it's an empty string, and assign it none if that's the case, then everything works again. Make sense? Good. So, we should be able to log in, forget it's test user and password, name, or login, test user and password. Ooh. Yes, I know. Thank you. Oh. Yes, that's true. Okay. I changed the name of the control app, but that shouldn't matter anymore, should it? Let's see here. Unrecognized apparatus. Oh, yes, okay. Let's see here. Where am I? Get rid of those. There we go. Try again. Reload. Test user. Password. Login. Test user and password. Here we go. So we've got login, but we're not logged in. Okay, that's okay. We'll take a look at the code. So, whenever you encounter an error like this, a good thing to do is to drop some print statements down to make sure that you're entering code blocks the way that you think you are. So for me right now, I'm expecting this guy to execute. So let's just throw down an echo statement there and see if she is. It is, good. Are we verifying the password? No, we are not verifying the password. Alright. That's a different issue. Oh yeah, that'd be the reason. Look at that. Whack, whack, whack. There we go. Try that again. P-A-S-S-W-O-R-D. Still not working though. Alright.
When I made a new account and tried to log in, it worked fine, but using the test user it didn't.
Oh, maybe it's the hashing.
Probably.
Yeah. Let's try, okay, let's do it. Name, Fred, no, we already used Fred. Yes. Okay, username, yes. Password, yes. Re-enter password, yes. Register. Okay, there we go. Now, yes and yes. Really? So bizarre. Let me see. That's working for you?
It worked for me before. I mean, right now I'm having the unrecognized operation, but that was a few steps back, so.
Alright. Looks like is the Apache server responding? My goodness. It seems today is just cursed. Sometimes you teach a cursed class. Alright. Well, let me see if I can fix this in the last 5 minutes of class. So, let's see here. Questions, questions, questions. First question. Are we able to successfully execute that on the server? Yes. Okay. So, do we get a password? What is the state of H? H is nothing. Where username is equal to thing. Yes. Select password from yes. Good. Taking a look at the database. Like, we also didn't insert that new person in, right? So, let's see here. So that's probably the first thing to go after, actually. So, oh, well, that would be the reason. That would be the reason registration didn't work. Because I left that as an exercise to the reader, didn't I? There we go, register. Now if we go and open our registration script from a couple of classes ago. There we go. Oop. See here. Copy that. Paste it into the model. There we go. Tab it over. There we go. Gotta modify the names of things so that it all matches up. name, username, yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Alright. Let's try her again. Let's register a new user. Yes, 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 and yes. Register. Undefined variable, okay. Undefined variable u on line 47. That's an error, that's good. Probably means that I just need to replace this with u, replace that with n, there we go. Reload. Registration successful. Let's make sure. Yes, there we go. We now have a hashed password. Structure. Browse. Should delete that guy who's not hashed. Oh well, that'll be fine. Alright, that was the problem, it was the hashing. If we log in, yes and yes, log in. Ta-da! Alright, it works, hurrah! And that's time. Good. Alright, so, that's all for class today. We will resume next week. Next week we will continue to expand what it means to be an API. Question?
Just with my second grade,
Sure.
I'm having trouble, I'm getting an error with my code.
I'll be happy to come and take a look at it. Let me just, wrap up the class. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
Are there any exercises leading up for the exam that we can work on the canvas?
There certainly will be something. I'll have to dig something out. Could you shoot me an email to remind me?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. Question?
Will there be an official review?
Oh yes. In the final week we will be spending both classes doing a review, if you want. Yeah. Yes?
With mock practice session, something like that, just to help us with the final.
Yeah. Sure. Yep, I'll dig out whatever I have. Okay, any other questions?
Can you post the, I'm gonna call it cheat sheet, I can't remember what you called it.
Oh,
the width and height.
Oh, it's one piece of standard 8.5 by 11 or A4 paper. Yes.
Can you make that announcement?
I will make that an announcement, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright. Class is dismissed.
Was on the single. Because I remember the game logic we created back in for the Louis interface.
I mean, we always post the so that was perfect for me. That's perfect. I can always rewind, go back to the global languages. I always even go to the very last video for us. Yeah, I always watch. So if you can post the videos, and I can rewatch them.
I learned that already.
Thank you so much.
Take it easy.
Because I have the times.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw the same concept.
Yeah. So
Obviously, it's define the
yeah, that not as much as
Yeah. It's no longer as much as too as stressful anymore.
yeah, that was in terms as well.
Oh, you funny body.
Yeah, that was one, yeah. The moment I saw it, I was putting my mouth because I knew I was gonna forget it. I did forget it this morning, but it's like, oh, it went right in the back, so.
Yes.